I think for me the key messages are around the science. Obviously I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, I'm not meeting patients, so for me the key messages aren't around how patients are managed and how this treatments are delivered. It's about the future and where we're heading with CAR T-cell therapy. So I found it really interesting to look at the differences between Yescarta and Kymriah. They're different in terms of the immediate potency of the treatment and how long-lasting the treatment's effective. They do have these intrinsic differences, but I think where we're heading is CAR T-cells made with human antibodies rather than mouse antibodies, so hopefully more hidden from the immune system. CAR T-cells with added potency, so we've seen mention of the trucks here, where you've got the CAR T protein on the surface of the T-cell, and when the T-cell engages with a target, that gives a message to the CAR T-cell to then produce an extra payload. So it produces an interleukin which then attracts in macrophages, so that even if there are cancer cells around that don't have the target on their surface, they will be killed by the macrophages that get drawn in by the CAR T cells that have this extra weapon at their disposal. So I think there's some really exciting new technologies to improve on existing CAR T cells. But also I've been really fascinated to hear about where we're heading in terms of CAR T cells for multiple myeloma, particularly the BCMA targeted CAR T cells are looking really interesting in multiple myeloma. And then ideas for the future. I mean, AML is a really difficult cancer to treat. Once you've exhausted the standard treatment options of chemotherapy, of stem cell transplants, there is nothing more currently. And it's a very difficult cancer to target with CAR T cells. You know, AML develops from very, very immature myeloid cells of the immune system, and those immature myeloid cells, healthy immature myeloid cells, have the same proteins on their surface as AML cells, and you can't afford to destroy the myeloid elements of your immune system. So the difficulty is in creating a CAR T cell that will destroy the AML cells but will leave the immature myeloid white blood cells alone. And it's been really interesting at this conference to see some ideas coming through as to how you might selectively target those AML cells. So it's been really interesting to see some new technologies and new improvements on where we are at currently, but also expanding CAR T cell therapy into other hematological diseases.